Chapter 3. How to handle price objection in a sales interview. Quote, "Treat objections as requests for further information." By Brian Tracy, author and sales expert. It's great to kickstart this chapter by congratulating you as an avid reader to have read this book this far. Truly, there is no better place to remind you the importance of crushing price objections during a sale interview. For your info, if price objection comes up, it certainly reveals that the seller has awakened the prospects a desire for the proposition or shown its value. Unfortunately, it is often used by prospects as a stall to avoid listening to the proposition at all. The purpose of this chapter is to arm the sales professional with solutions to handle price objections squarely. To arouse more interest for you to read further, allow me to give you some interesting facts and figures relating to price objections. Alright. In this chapter, it highlights the need of the sales professionals to respond to objection with speed and satisfactions. Note also price objections may be disguised to hide other non-price objections too. There are excellent techniques listed in this chapter to handle price objections. Plus, there are 5 common techniques to deal with price objections. Along with these previews, there are more important points to elaborate, such as price objections is raised early in the sales interview. Thus, when this happens, the salesman may tolerate a postponement of the sales presentation until the prospect has enough information about the proposition. It could give the would-be buyer to decide intelligently. In truth, price objections are often the most critical questions with which salespeople must deal. Bear in mind, the sales personnel must be certain that they are dealing with a price objection rather than a prospect's comment about price that is really a product or service-related objections. Believe me, price objections can suggest uncertainty on the buyer's part or an attempt to get a lower price. Moreover, sales personnel should be able to explain their company's price and to justify it in relation to value received by the buyer. In any case, salespeople should treat a price objection as a sign that the prospect has not yet accepted the sales proposal. Hence, renewed selling effort is required to show that the price level is justified for the product's price package offered. Certainly, salespeople should never apologize for the product's price. If they really believe in what they are selling, they also believe that the product is worth the asking price. Additionally, price objections can be minimized, or in any event dealt with, in many other ways. All in all, there are 5 common techniques to deal with price objections. 1. Avoidance of price comparisons at all cost. However, if such thing happens, a salesperson should not cite a whole list of prices, such as we have this model for RM50, this other one for RM20, model XL407 for RM99, and finally this one for RM119. This approach invites price objections because the seller has failed to identify the customer's needs before citing the various prices. 2. Quote a price with a supporting statement. In other words, do not say, "It is RM199.95. Say, "It is RM199.95 and has a Viewtronic lens that assures you of a sharp picture every time you click the shutter." 3. Respond immediately to a price objection. Give the prospect the information he or she seeks now. Postponing the response arouses suspicion and causes the customer to lose confidence in the salesperson. 4. Break the price quotation into small units. Quote the product's price in weekly or monthly payments, cost per mile or work hour, or some similar quantity. Most good salespeople never state the total price without also citing the price per unit. 5. Relate the price to an investment or profit. For example, the cost of this display unit is $4,000, and it will give you a return of $5,200 during the first year of use alone. A comparison of this nature allows the prospect to see the real value of the item. Regardless of the technique or combinations of methods used to handle price objections, it is important to handle them promptly. To do otherwise is to court failure in this most critical area. For starters, below are simple and basic steps to handle. During the course of sales interview, when an objection is raised, these 7 steps to be followed. Step 1. Wait for the prospect to finish speaking. Step 2. Pause for 3 to 5 seconds. Step 3. Ask a question. Step 4. Pose a follow-up question. Step 5. Summarize their objection in 2 to 3 sentences. Step 6. Clarify if you missed anything. Step 7. Diffuse their concern. These steps gives a framework on overcoming sales objections. It must be noted that the relevant price objections may be overcome depending on the types of price objections itself. However, when the price objections is pointed out, try to avoid of price comparisons. Another technique to solve prices issues is to always quote a price with a supporting statement. Even if you sense a price objection is forthcoming, always respond immediately to the objection. To cushion the issue of a huge price, do break the price quotation into small units. Another way to offset the negative effect of price is relate the price to an investment or profit. Of course, there are other problems inherent to price matter, yet it is suffice for now to highlight the above solutions for the time being. Agree or not? To wrap up this chapter succinctly on the chapter, how to handle price objections in a sales interview, mentioned must be made on the importance of overcoming with tact, diplomacy, and in details. At this juncture it is most appropriate to repeat the salient points. Yes. In essence, there is the need for sales professionals to respond quickly and adequately to objections. Also note that price objections can be a cover to hide other non-price objections as well. This chapter lists excellent way for dealing with price objections. Plus, there are 5 ordinary procedure to deal with price objections. Now that we are at the tail end of this chapter, we should now adopt and apply the tips and techniques to overcome price objections effortlessly and amicable without prospects. Agree or not? To leave an lasting impression on this chapter, allow me to quote some remarkable words by Tom Riley. Crush price objections, sales tactics for holding your ground and protecting your profit book. He says, there is hardly anything in the world that some man cannot make a little worse and sell a little cheaper, and the people who consider price only are this man's lawful prey. End of chapter 3. PS. Come to think of it, we know if it is a lengthy chapter, yet we want to congratulate you for watching and reading this chapter completely. Additionally, we are eager to know which part of this chapter you learned most. Your feedbacks are critical so that we can help each other grow effectively. Lest you forget, these writings will continue in YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course in our author, trainer, and consultant's email, josephsfn@gmail.com, upon request. Alright, thank you. We hope to meet you in the next chapter.